Well, hey family, this is Darlene. Wanted to thank you for stopping by the Jury by BDK YouTube channel. I know you didn't come here for a sermon. So here's the video, and we'll talk soon.
Well, hey family, happy Sunday. This is Darlene. So I'm making another a link necklace. I'm gonna do it a little different this time. So I'm gonna close the ends up like this, and I'm gonna lock each bead on to the next bead. And I'm doing that for basically security purposes. So I'm going to use these little rhinestone beads I got here that almost look like shiny diamonds. And then I'm going to be using these real pretty white beads. I thought about mixing them with pearl. And then let me see how that'll look. Thought about mixing them with the pearl and then doing it with the I like the rhinestone for right now, and I'll come back maybe and do another one with the pearls, but I'm gonna stick along this vein right here so I can see what this looks like, and hopefully it come out looking nice because I don't want to waste all my wires. So this is what I'm gonna do. So each one I'm going to put it in. Wait, I gotta figure out a way to lock the bottom down first. So we're just gonna close this off at the end. So then that way the beads don't fall off. Okay, and then we take the other end, put that through there, and then we got our beads right here. So all we're gonna do is fold that over like that. So then it ends up like this. So I'm gonna hold these beads out of the way. Actually put it right here. So that way I have a little guide. And then I'm gonna take the wire, actually pinch it, like if I was gonna close it off like that. And then go ahead and wrap it. And then this is a more secure way too for the beads to be on here. I'm thinking I want to do it this way, so I'm gonna see what it looks like. And then I'm gonna just close the little extra wire down. And then we're gonna take the other side, straighten that out. And then we're just gonna unbend the end. This will take a little bit more, but it is gonna be a lot more secure than the other way. So then I'm gonna just take the end, bend it like that, and then go ahead and wrap it. Straighten that up. Wrap the rest of this wire. And I'm thinking it'll look even nice. Like the more wire that you have on here, the more elegant it should look. And then this is what I'm thinking. I want to link them like this. And that makes it more secure when I do it that way. the rest of them and see what it come out looking like. And I hope it comes out looking nice, because if not, that's a lot of used wire. I'll go ahead and curl the end up right here. That'll keep it from coming off. Put our wire through there. And then we're just going to go ahead and bend that wire over like that. Make a nice little small hole. Wrap it. Put the wire around it. I need to hold it with the pliers. Just go ahead and wrap that wire around. And then go ahead and close the wire down. Because I was thinking about what is a more even secure way that I can do it without, and it adds a little extra something to the piece without using jump rings. And I thought about it, I was like, oh, I could just close each bead on top of each other, or stack them on top of each other. And make sure that wire is all the way down. So this is what it's going to look like linked together. And then we will unfold this part. Straighten that back out. Pinch it about right there. Fold it over. And go ahead and wrap it. Straighten it up. Finish wrapping that wire around. This one, I don't think I'm going to put charms on it. I'm going to see what it looks like without the charms, because I do like the necklace without charms. But the charms add a nice little flair to it. We'll see what this one will look like. And I'm trying to get enough pieces together so when I submit the pieces that I want on the new platform, I could start with a nice amount of pieces on there and then just go ahead and keep uploading them as I go. But the initial ones have to be approved. The initial submissions, like the first batch of products that I want on the new wholesale website, they have to get approved. So I want it to be a lot of the link necklaces, so I'm going to be working on these for a minute. What I'm doing is trying to close the little piece of wire down. You can see that little extra wire right there. So I need to make sure that it's all the way closed without tearing my fingers up. So I got that. And then this is what that looks like. So it'll look like a nice link chain. And I think I'm going to do it just without. Oh, I like this. And I do like it with the little rhinestones. This is like real cool. I'm almost thinking I got some gold pieces over here. Wrap some. All right, let's try to finish it up real quick before I start. Get off track. All right, right, so I gotta try to put this wire on here like even. So I'm gonna do it about right here. So folding the wire on, crossing it, and then take my pliers and put the pliers right here on the cross part, and then go ahead and start wrapping that wire. You can also use the other set of pliers too to like hold it so the wire is not tearing into your finger. But you know, I'm stubborn with it, so and it just feels more natural to be doing it this way. So I'm gonna fold this all the way down, make sure that wire is tucked away and I don't feel nothing. Nothing in the sense of a wire poking. All these happy birthdays. Everybody like, what you doing? What time you gonna be ready? I'm like, oh, hold on a second. Somebody else is always, because what I'm gonna tell them is they all could just meet up if they want to. What you doing? And I'll look up and they'll all be sitting up in the church building with me. Like, where are you people come from? So I've got a long piece of wire right there. So I'm gonna try to smash it all the way down on here because I don't want to cut it. Because that's my thing. Like when people buy stuff and they open it, because I've done that, like handmade items. I've done that. Like as soon as I open the box or the package or whatever, to get to the product, I immediately start looking at the handmade product and I look for quality and craftsmanship. You know, and if I could look at that piece and say, yeah, they put a lot of love into this, I can, you know, like really get down with that. I could really appreciate that. But I bought things, you know, like trying to support people, and you get that package or that box and you be like, see, they got to do better with this. I know one time I had ordered some, I may have said this before. It was a lady selling some, I think it was nail decorations that will go on your nails, like little sticker type decorations stuff. And when I got the package, the sticky part, that, you know, that sticky part on the envelope, it had dead roaches under the flap that you stick. And I'm like, well, how can somebody not see this? And I was just like, oh wow, that's not good. And the sad thing is I never ordered from her again, because to me, I don't know what that environment is like where the stuff is coming from. So I'm like, oh wow, you got to be careful with that. And I think I'd send her a picture, like by email or something, just, you know, like kind of letting her know, hey, you know, this is how my package came, and chances are you probably didn't see it, you know, when you close up the package, but you know, this is not a good reflection on your business. And I was just like, ooh, wait, I don't know if she ever answered me back or anything, but I was like, well, that's not good. I hope ain't nobody else getting no stuff like that. I've ordered things where dog hair have been on stuff. And I think that's probably why people will put, when they selling things, animal free environment. Because if you've ever gotten something with dog hair on it, or, you know, like it's messy or something, I'm like, how is people sending stuff like this out? This don't make no sense. So I know you're not getting no repeat customers, because all that stuff is a reflection on, you know, you and your business. And I was just like, oh wow, roaches. Literally on the sticky part. And I'm like, well, how she didn't see this on the sticky part? Not unless, you know, she closed it up and I don't know, and you know, roaches got up in there or something. I don't know. I was just like, wow, she actually sent this out like this. Even with that, you know, if you have some type of infestation, Maybe try to keep stuff in an area covered or something in that way. Them roaches is a monster though. We had roaches in our house when we was little. We lived in a house right before my mother bought her 2-story house. It was it was a little shack. Well, not a shack. It was a house, and I think it had like 3 bedrooms or something. But it was the raggediest little house. But one thing I liked about my mother, she would always sit us down and have conversations like what her plans were. Because I remember she sat us all down at the table and she read out her plan to us that she had written down on paper. Okay, like literally planned it all out, point by point, bullet points, all that stuff. And she said, in order for me to accomplish all this, I need you guys to help. I need your cooperation in this. And we like, well, what you need us to do? And she said, all I need you guys to do is behave. That's all I need you to do. Go to school, behave, keep things clean, do what you got to do up in here. Whatever I ask you to do, I need you to do that because this is what I'm doing. And when she was saying this is what I'm doing, she was basically saying, I'm going to get us out of this roach infested house and get us into somewhere better. And my mother did that. Brand new upstairs, downstairs, 5 bedroom, took up a whole darn near lot. And we was like, oh my God, and she did this. But in that, okay, this is real cool. In that, we kind of lost our baby brother to the streets because, mom was always working. She was always busy. She was doing what she was doing. And then there was less supervision for the baby boy who was like, he was strong will, strong mind. He was going to do what he was going to do. That's all to it. But in that, I learned early on in anything, there is some type of sacrifice, like something loses, whenever people are literally trying to achieve things or working towards things, something and somebody is going to suffer. That's just the reality of it. It's just, and then if you think about, had she not did what she did, baby brother would have been fine, but we probably would have still been living in a roach infested house and God knows what else, right? But that's the thing. If you look at anything, any accomplishments, people have some sacrifice. It's almost like a price you pay. And you can't be everywhere doing everything if you're trying to do better for your family, for your kids. Stuff happens. That's why I don't be passing judgment on folks. It's like you just don't never know what people got going on, what people had to do. I'm trying to make sure this is closed real good on here. You just don't never know. That's why I would suggest to anybody, don't be having kids yet unless you absolutely positively ready. If you try and grind and establish your career and do all that kind of stuff, do all that stuff before you have them kids, because they gonna suffer. And then how these companies are, they want every bit of your time. They don't care nothing about if you got a family, especially if it's for women, especially women. Now, men can get away with it because if they got a wife or somebody that takes care of the kids. So a man pretty much can always get away with establishing his career and then, just kind of building. But it's really different for a woman. But I do know about them roaches. Lord have mercy. Them little demons is straight from hell. Because it's like, And we used to like sugar smacks, and we told our mom, don't even buy us no more sugar smacks, because we don't know if it's the cereal or the roaches. Get us some Captain Crunch and some corn flakes. Because we don't know what's going on in this box. Because when you put the sugar smacks in the milk, it's like it's separate. Some of it separates or something. and it'll start to look like a roach floating in your milk. We was like, oh, we don't want. It wasn't roaches in the milk, but it looked like it was like we don't want none of that. Get us some Cap'n Crunch. Okay, so that's that. And then I'm thinking that should be nice. I like the way that looks. We're just gonna have to go back and bend wire in different directions, and then maybe I think I'm gonna put one more on here. Because what would be the point? And then the quality of it and craftsmanship, we want it to be consistent. So, okay, I'm gonna close the end of that, and then this part I'm gonna put on here, and then we're gonna fold it like that, and then that's what we got. Put our pliers right here, and then go ahead and wrap that wire around as much of it as we can get. And then that little, oh, I might be able to close this little extra piece right here without tearing up my fingers. That's the goal, without tearing up your fingers. Okay, so we got that. We're going to undo this. Now, we are going to take our, oh wait, is that how I did that? That is how I did that. So we'll put our little, we're going to put our lobster clasp in there like that. Take our wire and hold it right there on the opposite, like in between the lobster and the wire, and then go ahead and roll it and close it up. And then I'm going to cut this little extra piece off and go ahead and close it down. Okay, so that's the secure. We got that. And even if you wanted to, you wouldn't even have to put jump rings if you don't want to. You could just close it off right here. And then that's closed off. So we don't even have to put jump rings if we don't want jump rings on it. Okay, so and what I'm looking at is making sure that the way that the wires have to be bent so that everything lays smoothly. And if this is the top, then this would be, right here would be the bottom part. And I can actually, you know what? Let me see something. I can actually put a, we can actually put a piece down there at the bottom. I'm gonna put a couple more of these, hold on. And it's whatever you want to do, however you want to finish it off to make it look professional and nice is literally what you do. Hold on. So this one right here, and then this is what it looks like. So and this is the link one. And I was going to do it without putting anything at the bottom, but you know what? I might even like this big piece right here too. So let me try something else. It's pretty, I kind of like this though. Let me see. Because it gives it a really nice, elegant, rich look, right? And then if I put this one on here, it seems like it would just give it, like it would just be plain. And this one I like because it has all the wire. And I think I'm going to just leave it like this. I like the way this looks. And then I'll go back and straighten up links and stuff and then make sure it's linked really good. Also, what I'm noticing, so like at the bottom part, the bottom down here, I'm going to make the hoops very small, as small as I can get them, because the smaller the hoop is, the better they'll marry together down here, right? And I do like the way this looks, so I like this. You guys let me know what you think. And these link necklaces are taking about an hour to make because it's at 50 something minutes now. So, but I really like the way they came out, the way they're coming out. So I do like this one. And I am going to leave it like this because I like the richness of it. It looks very elegant. And I might even add a couple more jump rings down here, but I'll look at it. I'm going to put it on the display. And then you know how you put something on the display and then you'll look at it, like you'll turn and look at it and you'll be like, oh, that's real nice. Or you'll say, oh, wait a minute, I need to add something else or I need to take something off.